The legendary 10 Digimon warriors once saved the ancient digital world and then disappeared, but they left their spirits behind, which hold their power to bestow it upon those who would use it to save the digital world once again. It happened a long time ago. There was a war between human and beast Digimon. That's when Luchamon appeared, bringing the battles to an end and leading the world to peace. But Luchamon eventually started to rule the world selfishly, making the Digimon suffer. That's when the 10 legendary warriors appeared, who were born from the same data as the digital world, which is linked to the 10 spirits. They defeated Luchamon and sealed him away in the world of nothingness, the dark area. After Luchamon was dealt with, the 10 legendary warriors released the 10 spirits and went to sleep. They entrusted the spirits to the 3 great angels who governed the digital world, 5 to Cherubimon, 2 to Seraphimon, and 3 to Ophanimon. Cherubimon was entrusted with the spirits of darkness, earth, wood, water, and steel, and took care of upholding knowledge and teachings in the digital world. Seraphimon was in charge of the light and wind spirits and upheld law and order, and Ophanimon guarded the spirits of fire, thunder, and ice, upholding love and life. For a while, the digital world was at peace, but Luchamon patiently waited for his chance to awaken once again someday. He noticed that Cherubimon didn't always agree with the other 2 angels and sensed potential to manipulate him. Cherubimon was the beast type and felt that the human type Seraphimon and Ophanimon didn't understand the beast clan. Cherubimon started to feel misunderstood and isolated. Luchamon then began shrouding Cherubimon in an evil aura. Cherubimon's motivation was to create a new law and order for his beast clan. After finally turning evil, he took his beast clan army and attacked Seraphimon and Ophanimon, imprisoning them. Being the keeper of 5 legendary warrior spirits, Cherubimon created evil warriors from 4 of those. Then he ordered his minions to start gathering the digital world's data, leaving this world riddled with holes. He wanted to gather all 10 spirits in one place and fuse them with all the data he gathered to take over the digital world. Cherubimon gave the 5th spirit to a child who ended up in the digital world, who like him could be easily corrupted. Seraphimon knew the locations of the other 5 spirits, but he was put to sleep, so Ophanimon helped the chosen children find the spirits and use them to save the digital world. A spirit is an item that contains the power of the 10 legendary warriors. Each spirit has 2 types, a human spirit that takes a human form and a beast spirit that takes a beast form. Spirit evolution is when chosen children use one of the 20 legendary spirits to transform themselves into hybrid Digimon. Other Digimon can also use the spirits to evolve. The form evolved by using spirits is called a hybrid. There are also fusion forms that use a combination of human spirits and beast spirits, and transcendent forms that use a combination of spirits of multiple attributes. The 10 legendary warriors had attributes, but Digimon born from their spirits have a variable attribute, meaning it can change depending on the environment. These Digimon as hybrids also don't have an evolution stage, but some Digimon media can assign them a stage if they need one to fit with the story, like in games. Spirit of Fire has the ability of fire. It can evolve from a human spirit to Agnimon and from a beast spirit to Richamon. Spirit of Light has the ability of light. It can evolve from a human spirit to Wolfmon and from a beast spirit to Garumon. Ice Spirit has the power of ice. It can evolve into Chakmon from its human spirit form and into Blizzardon from its beast spirit form. Spirit of the Wind has the ability of wind. It can evolve from a human spirit into Fairymon and from a beast spirit to Shutumon. Spirit of Thunder has the power of lightning. It can evolve into Blitzmon from its human spirit form and Bulgmon from its beast spirit form. Spirit of Earth has the power of earth. It can evolve into Grotemon from its human spirit form and Gigasmon from its beast spirit form. Spirit of Steel has the ability of steel. It can evolve from a human spirit to Mercuremon and from a beast spirit to Sephironmon. Water Spirit has the power of water. It can evolve into Ranamon from a human spirit and into Camaron from a beast spirit. Spirit of the Wood has the abilities of a plant. It can evolve from a human spirit to Arbomon and from a beast spirit to Petal. Dark Spirit holds the power of darkness. The human spirit Duskmon and the beast spirit Velgrmon are forms changed by the curse of Cherubimon. Their true forms are the human spirit Lowemon and the beast spirit KaiserLeomon. Agnimon is a Digimon with the power of fire. His Digicore is wrapped in spiritual fire, also known as the Holy Flame, and he can freely control flames. He is the incarnation of the firewall, the defense wall of the internet, and is also its guardian deity. Because he gets hot-headed easily, he has a warrior-like side to him, training his mind with yoga breathing, and his speech is somewhat old-fashioned and martial. In battle, he makes full use of oriental martial arts, and by concentrating his energy, he gathers flames in one place of his body to increase his attack power. Agnimon belongs to the Dragon's Roar, Nature Spirits, Deep Savers, and Nightmare Soldiers fields. Agnimon is based on Agni, the Hindu god of fire. He is equally the fire of the sun, of lightning, and of both the domestic and the sacrificial hearth. His special attacks are Burning Salamander, which unleashes a flame dragon from his flaming fist, and Salamander Break, which unleashes a flaming whirlwind kick. Another attack is Fire Darts, when he throws small bits of fire from his gauntlet at the target. Fairymon is a Digimon that was created when Agnimon lost his power and took on a half-human, half-beast form. He has lost the fighting spirit that Digimon naturally have, and as a result has lost his power. However, since he inherited the spirit of the legendary 10 warriors, possessing ultimate strength, even though he has lost his power, average adult Digimon cannot compete with him. If anything, he has a kindness that is unusual for a Digimon, and also has the mischievous side of a Digimon in his growth stage. Fairymon belongs to the Nature Spirits field. His special attack is Baby Salamander, which shoots out a fiery aura. Wolfmon is a Digimon with the power of light. The light purple parts on various parts of his body are Saint Amethysts, in which holy light is sealed. The holy light makes amethyst extremely hard when the owner has a righteous heart, but it becomes brittle as soon as the owner has a negative heart. He has a chivalrous spirit and is willing to risk his life for what he believes in and hates injustice. Wolfmon himself is quiet and doesn't like to get involved with others, so he often gives off a cold impression, but in reality he is a kind-hearted warrior. Wolfmon belongs to the Nature Spirits, Wind Guardians, Virus Busters, Metal Empire and Nightmare Soldiers fields. His special attacks are Licht Sieger, which cuts opponents in half with his sword of light called Lichtschwert, and in his Zweisieger attack he connects his two light swords and slashes enemies to pieces. Other attacks include Strahl and Lichtkugel. Strabimon is a Digimon whose power has been halved, turning him into a half-human, half-beast form. Unlike Fairymon, who is also half-human and half-beast, Strabimon has not lost his fighting instinct, giving him a somewhat ferocious side. Because of this, although he looks like a Digimon in the child stage, he can rampage to the point of being uncontrollable, just like an adult Digimon. Like Fairymon, his power has been reduced, but adult-class Digimon are no match for him. Strabimon belongs to the Nature Spirits field. His special attack is Lichtnagel, which slices the opponent to pieces with the shining claws on both his hands. Another attack is Lichtbein. Chakmon is a Digimon with ice abilities. He calls himself a sergeant in the Polar Army's Polar Region Defense Force. When asked about this, he responds that it is all classified, so the truth is unknown. This is all likely to be a product of his own imagination. However, his operation of the launcher, nicknamed Romeo, and his precision in battle are genuine, and he is also strong in survival knowledge, making him a very reliable Digimon. He rarely acts on his own, and mainly operates in response to requests or orders from others. If no one relies on him and he has nothing to do, he will get into an existential crisis and become depressed. Chakmon belongs to the Deep Savers field. He shoots special snowballs from his launcher, and there are several types depending on the purpose. His special attacks are Tsurararara, where he turns his body into icicles and jumps at the enemy, and Snow Bomber, where he fires super frozen snowballs from his launcher. Another attack is Kachi Kachi Kochin. Blitzmon is a Digimon with the power of lightning. His agile movements, which are unexpected from his size, are the result of high-voltage currents coursing through his body. He generates a special magnetic field, creating an anti-gravity environment that allows him to move at high speeds. The overflowing power of lightning manifests as sparks in various parts of his body, making Blitzmon appear robotic, but in contrast, his personality is expressive and human-like. His speech is rough, but this only makes him seem all the warmer. Blitzmon belongs to the Metal Empire field. In battle he has a wrestler-like style, and due to his nature, he is not good at acting in water. His special attacks are Thor's Hammer, when he clasps both hands together and swings down with great force, and Mjolnir Thunder, which rains lightning from the sky. Another attack is Lightning Bomber. Fairymon is a Digimon with the power of the wind. She is skilled in attacks such as freely manipulating the atmosphere to make the enemy see a mirage, or creating a vacuum to generate a Kamaitachi. She is more skilled in information warfare than in actual combat ability. She has an innocent and inquisitive personality, and is a talkative, loose-lipped troublemaker, but since she has no ill intentions, she is not hated. She is a thorough optimist and has a strong spirit that allows her to laugh and overcome minor adversities. Fairymon belongs to the Nature Spirits, Wind Guardians and Virus Busters fields. Her special attacks are Tornado Gamba, in which she does a handstand and performs a whirlwind kick, and Roseo Temporale, in which she charges at the enemy and performs a backflip kick after a series of kicks. Other attacks include Brezzo Petalo, when she produces streams of wind from her fingers and flings them at the enemy, and Carino Anka, when she hits the enemy with her bottom, immobilizing them for a while. Duskmon is a Digimon with dark abilities. The regrets of various extinct Digimon species and the forbidden data on the internet have turned into intense dark energy, solidifying into Duskmon. Dark energy is the opposite of the light of holy beings, and is inseparable from those who possess the power of light. His personality is thoroughly evil, ruthless and cruel. He is a perfectionist and has the dignity of a demon king, full of confidence. He is invincible in sword combat and does not hesitate to use cruel attacks. Duskmon belongs to the Nightmare Soldiers and Dark Area fields. His special attacks are Geist Abend, which makes the eyes on various parts of his body glow and puts the opponent into a hypnotic state, and Eroberung, which absorbs the opponent's power and makes it his own, with his two cursed swords called Blunt Evolution. The 3 heads and 7 eyes on his armor can act on their own, as if they are separate creatures, and true evil is sealed within them. Another attack is Gedächtnisstörung. Loweamon is a Digimon who is the true successor of the Spirit of Darkness. The Spirit of Darkness was transformed into the form of Duskmon by Cherubimon's curse, but Loweamon is his true form, freed from this magic. His appearance is not at all sinister, and he is known as the brave Jet Black Warrior, who fights as the shadow of the other 10 warriors. His power alone is comparable to that of fusion species such as Aldamon, and it is said that his overwhelming power is hidden in the Nibelungen ring worn on the index finger of his right hand. Loweamon belongs to the Virus Busters field. He is an expert in spearsmanship and is an executor of darkness, who pierces evil with the spear of condemnation and purifies it with the shield of atonement. His special attacks are Ewig Schlaf, which blasts the enemy with a powerful spear attack, and Endlich Meteor, which fires a golden energy wave from the lion on his chest. Arbomon is a Digimon with plant abilities. He is a digitalized blueprint for a wooden mechanical puppet from the Middle Ages, and his gimmick is surprisingly old-fashioned. He is expressionless and silent, so it is impossible to know what he is thinking, and his comrades literally treat him like a puppet. However, once a battle begins, he toys with his enemies with his agile and tricky movements. He can fire powerful vines from the tubes on his back and manipulate his opponents like marionettes. His skin is fireproof, but his insides and joints are vulnerable to fire. Arbomon belongs to the Nature Spirits field. His special attacks are Machine Gun Dance, which unleashes successive kicks from unexpected directions with bizarre movements, and Blockade Seed, which fires a giant seed from a hole in his chest and spreads vines all over the opponent's body. Grotemon is a Digimon with the power of the earth. From his large palms and thick fingers, he can create a variety of weapons and armor, which are both practical and artistic. The Grotto armor he wears and his main weapon, the Grotto hammer, are all handmade Grotto brands. He hates being ordered around and prefers to act alone, but once he recognizes the abilities of others, he will obediently follow them and immerse himself in his work like a craftsman. He's not very smart, but when it comes to his work, he has an extremely high sense of pride and tends to underestimate others. He belongs to the Nature Spirits and Metal Empire fields. In battle, his main attacks are Snake Eye Break, which turns enemies he touches with his Grotto Hammer into stone and destroys them, and Jack in the Box, which allows him to sneak into the ground and launch a surprise attack from under his opponent's feet, but he also has a technique where he creates a Golemon out of nearby earth and orders him to attack. Ranamon is a Digimon with the power of water. Perhaps because her main area of activity has been the ocean section of the weather forecast system, she has a keen intuition and her emotions change easily. Her feelings are intense, and when she's in a good mood, she can act like a refined young lady, but when something displeases her, she will cry hysterically like a baby. In battle, she rarely attacks directly, and mainly uses indirect attacks by manipulating rain. However, her combat abilities are strong when she is emotional, and her attacks while crying are particularly difficult to control. Ranamon belongs to the Deep Savers field. Her special attacks are Rain Stream, which focuses heavy rain on one enemy and crushes them, and Jealousy Rain, which melts all enemies with acid rain. Velgrmon is a Digimon with the power of steel. Among the evil warriors, he is the one who acts as a strategist and bestows wisdom. He has an aristocratic taste and is particular about his own style, which is also shown in battle, where he will explain the greatness of his tactics and the weapons he uses. His mind is so quick that he can come up with several strategies at the same time, so he is always arguing with himself in a fast-talking monologue. The powerful mirrors on both of his arms are called Shields of Irony, and they reflect back the damage from enemy attacks. He also uses a strange technique where he disappears into the mirror. Velgrmon belongs to the Metal Empire field. His special attacks are Generous Mirror, which reflects the opponent's attacks with his Shields of Irony, and Offset Reflector, which reverses the nature of the opponent's attacks and cancels them out. Richon is a Digimon with the power of fire. His skin can withstand high heat, so he can move even through lava, and he is a firefighter who can negate flames with an instantaneous explosive flame. He is said to have been created from data used in the study of active volcanoes, and is believed to contain an unknown immeasurable energy. He is said to be the sworn enemy of Indra, the god of thunder in Hindu mythology, and his nickname of the Fire Dragon reflects his ferocious nature. His fighting tactics are bold, and the stronger the opponent, the more his fighting spirit burns. He also has a reckless side that does not back down even in disadvantageous battles. Richon belongs to the Dragon's Roar, Nature Spirits, Deep Savers and Nightmare Soldiers fields. His special attacks are Corona Blaster, which fires a laser comparable to the heat rays of the sun from the super weapons Rudia Darpana on both arms, and Flame Storm, which burns his entire body and releases a high-temperature tornado with the flapping of his wings. Garmon is a Digimon with the power of light. Perhaps because he was discovered through an optical communication network, he is capable of ultra-high-speed movement, dodging bullets to approach his enemies, and his sharp claws and fangs will tear apart anyone he deems evil without question. He has a sense of justice worthy of the name of Garm, who fought alongside the god of war Tyr in Ragnarok in Norse mythology, and has a stronger hatred for evil than most. He will not obey anyone who has even the slightest evil intention, and once he has sworn his loyalty, he will never betray them. In Norse mythology, Garm is a wolf or dog associated with both Hell and Ragnarok, and described as a blood-stained guardian of Hell's Gate. Garmon belongs to the Wyvers Busters, Wind Guardians, Metal Empire and Nature Spirits fields. His special attacks are Speedster, which charges at ultra-high speed and slices the enemy to shreds with the wing blades on his back, and Solar Laser, which draws in light energy from his mouth and spits it out at the same time as it reaches a critical point. Blizzardon is a Digimon with ice abilities. He is more reckless than brave, but is wild and full of ambition and desire. He is curious, likes to be the center of attention, and is quite a joker. Even during battle, he makes humorous poses, as if praying to the god of ice and snow that he worships, and shouts the name of his special attacks. But in reality, he is also shrewd, carefully observing the enemy and the terrain, and advancing the battle to his advantage. Blizzardon belongs to the Deep Savers field. His special attacks are Avalanche Step, which uses his two tomahawks Edgy and Oji to slice the enemy into pieces as if dancing, and Glacier Torpedo, which uses his stretchy hair to immobilize the opponent and finish them off with the blades at the tips. Bulgmon is a Digimon with the power of lightning. He was discovered in a security system created based on the Scarab treasure chamber at the deepest part of the pyramid and has a cautious and careful personality. Scarabs are amulets and impression seals, shaped according to the eponymous beetles, which were popular throughout ancient Egypt. In battle, he patiently shields his allies with his tough armor and takes the enemy's attacks, but when he reaches a critical point, he launches a fierce all-out attack with all of his guns until the enemy is reduced to nothing. Due to his heavy weight and low mobility, he is basically in charge of rear support. However, he can also destroy enemies in close combat with his diverse weapons. Bulgmon belongs to the Metal Empire field. His special attacks are Ultimate Thunder, which releases all of his energy from both arms, and Field Destroyer, which fires a super fast positron laser from his head turret. Shutumon is a Digimon with the power of wind. At first glance, she appears to be a calm, mature woman and bewilders her opponents with her listless behavior, but in reality she has a whimsical, devilish personality that likes to trouble people. She will also surprise her opponents by purposely telling them unlucky fortunes. She rarely takes the initiative to help in battle, and if she cannot see the opponent's efforts, she will deliberately put them in a difficult situation. Once she feels like it, she can glide freely through the air and defeat her opponents by manipulating the wind with a secret Mesopotamian spell. Shutumon belongs to the Wind Guardian's field. Her special attacks are Gilgamesh Slicer, which cuts through the air along with the opponent, with the claws on her hands and feet, and Wind of Pain, which jumps into the air and shoots the feathers from her hair and wings as sharp arrows. Velgrmon is a Digimon with the power of darkness. He has the appearance of a gigantic monster bird and is called the one that swallows the dead due to his ferocious appearance and nature. Duskmon transforms into tiny particles, which then fly down from the sky, which is covered in a large amount of black mist. Duskmon is proud and hates the fact that he will turn into the hideous and irrational Velgrmon, so he will not show his Velgrmon form unless something extraordinary happens. In regular battles, his main weapons are his claws, which have the ability to blind opponents, and his fangs, which can even bite through metal. Velgrmon belongs to the Nightmare Soldier's field. His special attacks are Zone Deleter, which uses a powerful flap of his wings to wipe out the enemy and the space around them into another dimension, and Master of Darkness, which changes the enemy's nature to darkness and manipulates them as he pleases. KaiserLeomon is a Digimon who is the true successor of the Spirit of Darkness. Like Duskmon, the Spirit of Darkness was transformed into the form of Velgrmon by Cherubimon's curse, but KaiserLeomon is his true form, freed from this magic. Known as the Jet Black Lion, his body is a type of chrome Digizoid and discovered in a special metal called Obsidian Digizoid that shines jet black. As a result, not only does it have high defense capabilities, but the armor is also extremely sharp. It is said that after KaiserLeomon runs through, a gust of black wind will cut everything to pieces. KaiserLeomon belongs to the Virus Busters and Nightmare Soldiers fields. His special attacks are Schwarz Donner, which fires a black energy bullet, and Schwarz König, which crushes the enemy with the black aura that covers his entire body. Gigasmon is a Digimon with the power of Earth. He is a giant of Earth that materializes by solidifying the soil on the ground and the components in the atmosphere. At the moment of materialization, he is covered in high heat and his skin becomes super hard, surpassing ceramic. His personality and thoughts are arrogant, just like Grotemon's. Having grown to a huge size, he has become even more overconfident, and his tactics are extremely violent. As he generally underestimates his opponents, he finds fighting boring and often yawns during battles. Gigasmon belongs to the Nature Spirits field. His special attacks are Earthquake, where he jumps high and slams the ground with great force, and Hurricane Bomber, where he spreads both arms and spins at high speed to unleash a double lariat. Petal is a Digimon with plant abilities. Countless buds emerge from Arbormon's surface, growing rapidly, and his surface transforms into the appearance of a giant lizard made of plants. Like Arbomon, he is expressionless, and it is difficult to guess what he is thinking, but unlike Arbomon, who did not require food, Petaldramon has a voracious appetite. When he opens his mouth, he sticks out a vine-like tongue and swallows anything. When he swallows his prey, the branches on his back grow, and for just that moment he shows an eerie smile. His physical attacks are whips made from his branches and tail. He scatters sleep-inducing spores from the moss that covers his surface. Petaldramon belongs to the Nature Spirits field. His special attacks are Leaf Cyclone, which rotates the leaves around his head and fires them, and Thousand Spikes, which shoots out countless roots that have crawled above ground in one go, impaling all the enemies in his vicinity. Camaron is a Digimon with the power of water. With a half-human, half-beast appearance, her tentacles are used for offense and defense, spinning at high speed to attack the enemy, or converging to form a wall to guard the main body. If the battle using her tentacles is unsuccessful, she retracts her main body into her torso and launches a powerful attack in the form of a giant squid. The elasticity of her torso is greater than that of her tentacles, making her immune to external physical attacks. She is better at acting in the water or in the air, but on land she skillfully manipulates her 10 tentacles and moves like a giant hermit crab. She has the sly and short-tempered personality of a witch. Her special attacks are Nero Corso, which blows soluble ink from her mouth, and Titanic Charge, which hardens her torso, rotates it like a drill, and slams it into the enemy. Sephiron is a Digimon with the power of steel. He has a machine-like way of thinking, completely devoid of emotion. He can instantly analyze his enemies and accurately exploit their weaknesses. However, he is extremely vulnerable to uncalculated moves. Each of his 10 spheres has the same attribute as the other 10 warriors and can attack with the same attribute or absorb attacks of the same attribute. When an enemy attack misses or when his own attack hits, a low, unpleasant laugh comes from his creepy mouth. Sephiron belongs to the Metal Empire field. His special attack is Rumble Blend number 1 to 10, which shuffles the sphere and randomly attacks with the same attribute as one of the 10 warriors from the sphere that stops at the top of his head. The one who possesses both the human and beast type of a spirit can bond with both spirits to evolve into a fusion form hybrid Digimon. In Digimon Frontier, the power to double spirit evolve is granted by Seraphimon's Digi-Egg before hatching into Patamon. Only Agnimon and Wolfmon were able to achieve this evolution, getting the forms of Aldamon and Beowulfmon during the events of Digimon Frontier, but double spirit evolutions of other spirits are also known. Aldamon is a fusion of the human and beast spirits of fire. He gained unknown abilities, so he can use fire beyond legend. He often makes enemies due to his violent behavior. His name comes from the fusion of a god in Hindu mythology who is depicted as half male, half female, equally split down the middle. Aldamon is a demon god that fights by transforming anger and fear into the power of justice, combining the wildness of a beast with the intelligence of a man. In battle, he unleashes ultra-wide range attacks that melt and burn everything. His destructive power is reminiscent of the threat of modern nuclear weapons. Aldamon belongs to the Dragon's Roar, Virus Busters, Nature Spirits, Deep Savers and Nightmare Soldiers fields. His special attacks are Brahmashira, which boosts the sacred flames of his Digicore to the limit, increasing the high temperature, high density central core of the sun and causing a huge explosion, and Brahmastra, which fires high-speed, rapid-fire, ultra-high temperature bullets from the superweapons Rudri Darpana on both arms. He can also use Rudria Darpana in hand-to-hand combat and is good at close combat. Beowulfmon is a fusion of the human and beast spirits of light. He gained unknown abilities and can use light beyond legend. He is a powerful warrior who combines the wildness of a beast with the intelligence of a man and easily swings down his large two-edged sword Trinitat with one hand. In battle, he fights calmly and coolly, judging the situation without getting heated up, but he believes in the path of a warrior who fights for his allies and challenges powerful foes. In his left hand, he wields a missile pod for long-distance combat, Roland Zwei, and is good at both long-distance and close-range combat. Beowulfmon is based on Beowulf, a Scandinavian hero from a heroic poem of the same name, which is the oldest piece of English literature. Beowulfmon belongs to the Virus Busters, Metal Empire and Wind Guardians fields. His special attacks are Lichtangriff, a powerful combination heavy weapon that launches multiple homing missiles from Roll and Zwei at the enemy and kills them with the main gun, and Zweihänder, which swings his large sword Trinität from above at subliminal speed, cutting the enemy to shreds in an instant. Another attack is Heleklin. Jet Sylphimon is a fusion of the human and beast spirits of wind. She gained unknown abilities, giving her wind powers that surpass those of legend. She can absorb the wind and fly around the air like a jet plane using its power. When she moves through the air, her form is invisible, just like the wind. Sylphimon's name is based on Sylph, an imaginary spirit of the air. Jet Sylphimon belongs to the Wind Guardian's field. Her special attacks are Jet Binter, which fires both of her arms with the power of the wind, and Ultra Turbulence, which generates unprecedented turbulence from a giant windmill blowing opponents away. Rhino Kabuterimon is a fusion of the human and beast spirits of thunder. This gave him unknown abilities and lightning powers beyond legend. He has a gigantic body and heavy shell that is indistinguishable from a dinosaur. He has the ability to generate a special magnetic field with ultra-high voltage current and can freely control it using his huge horn. He is skilled in charging techniques, but in reality he pushes enemies away with the special magnetic field without actually touching them. His special attacks are Condenser Storm, in which he swings his horn dramatically and releases all the electricity stored in his body in one go, engulfing the enemy in a storm of lightning, and Thunder Laser, in which he fires all the electricity gathered in his horn like a laser. Daipenmon is a fusion of the human and beast spirits of ice. He gained unknown abilities and legendary ice powers. Although his wings have degenerated, he can fly for a moment by flapping the giant ice blocks Kaki-Kaki-kun in his right hand and Kochi-Kochi-kun in his left hand. Even if they both melt, he doesn't need to worry, because he can create new ones. His special attacks are Blue Hawaii Death, in which he covers the Kaki-Kaki-kun in his right hand with blue syrup and hits the enemy, and Strawberry Death, in which he covers the Kochi-Kochi-kun in his left hand with red syrup and hits the enemy. However, the color of the syrup does not determine the power of the attack. Daipenmon sometimes works with Gomamon X, and together they unleash Goma Milk Death, a powerful attack, but it's mostly Daipenmon who does all the work. Raihimon is a fusion of the true forms of the human and beast spirits of darkness, who gained unknown abilities and legendary dark powers. No one has ever seen this warrior, and there is no evidence of all the enemies he battled, so he's known as the Guardian of Darkness. His special attacks are Schwarzlasatz, meaning Black Theorem, which neutralizes all physical laws in the surrounding area and brings down the enemy, and Radkreuz, meaning Red Cross, which is fired from the lion's eye on his head. Hyper Spirit Evolution is when a chosen child or Digimon bonds with some legendary spirits in certain combinations to form a transcendent form hybrid Digimon. KaiserLeomon is a transcendent Digimon with the power of fire, said to surpass even the power of the legendary 10 warriors. It is said that the power of the 9 dragon veins that flow through the earth resides within his body, and it is foretold that if he can control the power of the 9 dragons, he will be able to demonstrate immeasurable abilities and even rule the earth. In order to control that power, he possesses the Dragon's Soul Sword, which is said to seal the soul of a dragon. KaiserLeomon belongs to the Wind Guardians, Deep Savers, Nightmare Soldiers, and Nature Spirits fields. His special attacks are Flame Dragon Strike, which fires an arrow from the Dragon's Soul Sword that has been perfected to a white light, and 9-headed Dragon Formation, which fires the 8 dragon veins that reside in the earth, becoming the last dragon and smashing the enemy with his great sword. Other attacks include Purgatory Sword Dance, Storming Flame, and Flaming Edge. Magna-Garurumon is a transcendent Digimon with the power of light, said to surpass even the power of the legendary 10 warriors. He excels at moving at the speed of light and can fly at subliminal speed when equipped with a flight unit. Also, the chest armor, the long-range Sniper Phantom on his right arm, and the medium-range Strike Phantom on his left arm can be separated, but this reduces their firepower. The laser sight on his chest can lock onto all targets, both air and ground, by rotating in the sky, and once he has confirmed a target after rotating high above, he launches an all-out attack. It is now impossible to escape from Magna-Garurumon. Magna Garurumon belongs to the Virus Busters, Wind Guardians and Metal Empire fields. His special attacks are Machine Gun Destroy, which attacks all locked-on targets at once and destroys the main target at high speed. And Starlight Velocity, which accelerates to a speed that exceeds the subliminal after separating from the chest armor and erases everything that comes into contact with the band of light. Other attacks include Magna Cannon, Magna Blade and Aeromagna Blade. The Ancient Spirit evolution is achieved by bonding together all the 20 legendary spirits to form the legendary Susanoomon. Susanoomon is, in Eastern legends, the strongest god of destruction and the god of regeneration. It is said that he descends when there is an abnormality in the network system, nullifying the existing system and creating a new one. Susano is a kami in Japanese mythology. The legend tells the story of how Susano came down from heaven because he was banished for his outrageous behavior. He then met a couple whose 7 daughters were devoured by Yamato no Orochi, a serpent dragon with 8 heads and tails. Susano killed the serpent and married the girl he saved, producing many generations of gods. Susanoomon belongs to the Virus Busters, Wind Guardians, Nightmare Soldiers, Metal Empire, Deep Savers and Nature Spirits fields. His special attacks are Heavenly Wings Beheading, a Sword of Light unleashed by Zero Arms Orochi that cuts and pierces everything under the sky, and 8 Thunder Gods, an ultimate move in which a Sword of Light is unleashed from Zero Arms Orochi towards the heavens, raining down on the earth as destructive lightning. The 10 Ancient Warrior Digimon were the first ultimate level Digimon to exist in ancient times. Ancient Greymon possesses the attribute of fire. It is said that his strength surpasses even that of current Ultimate Digimon, making him truly the ultimate. Ancient Greymon's abilities were later passed down to Dragon-type Digimon such as Greymon. It is said that he survived until the end of the previous Holy War, along with Ancient Garurumon and sealed away Lucemon. He has the Vaccine attribute and belongs to the Virus Busters and Nature Spirits fields. His special attacks are Gaia Tornado, which gathers the energy of the earth and turns it into a tornado that engulfs and blows away enemies, and Omega Burst, which causes a super explosion that spreads for several kilometers with a strong flash of light. Ancient Garurumon has the attribute of light and was called the Shining Supreme Beast. Ancient Garurumon's abilities were later passed down to Beast Digimon. It is said that he survived until the end of the previous Holy War along with Ancient Greymon and sealed away Lucemon. Ancient Garurumon has the Data attribute and belongs to the Virus Busters and Nightmare Soldiers fields. His special attacks are Sharpness Claymore, which cuts through enemies with a dazzling flash of his 2 great swords, and Absolute Zero, which completely stops the movement of electrons with the super freezing air of Absolute Zero and Super Light. Ancient Megatheriumon has the attribute of Ice. It is said that he had the strength and bravery to adapt to the extremely cold and frozen Earth. His Absolute Zero attacks halt the atomic activity of all things and can easily destroy giant permanently frozen icebergs. Ancient Megatheriumon's abilities were later passed down to Mammal and Snow and Ice Digimon. Ancient Megatheriumon is based on Megatherium, an extinct mammal that was the size of the modern elephant. He lived during the last Ice Age. Ancient Megatheriumon has the Data attribute and belongs to the Deep Savers field. His special attacks are an Absolute Zero, Super Blizzard called Freezing Blizzard, and a Supercharge called Great Snowplow that can destroy even giant icebergs. Ancient Beatmon has the attribute of Thunder and has an appearance that resembles a combination of many insects, such as rhinoceros beetles and stag beetles. He has a hard shell that rivals that of Chrome Digizoid, and his sickle-shaped arms have the power to cut through anything and lift objects hundreds of times his own mass with ease. Ancient Beatmon's abilities were later passed down to Insect Digimon. Ancient Beatmon has the Vaccine attribute and belongs to the Nature Spirits field. His special attacks are Calamity Thunder, a Calamity Thunderbolt that brings about super disasters, and Terra Blaster, a super electrical discharge attack that is 1,000 times stronger than the Hercule Kabuterimon's Giga Blaster. Ancient Irismon has the attribute of Wind and golden wings and a beautiful rainbow-colored appearance. It is said that she could soar through the vast sky with her golden wings at lightning speed, and by building a rainbow bridge, she could move freely on land and even underwater. Ancient Irismon's beauty and abilities were later passed down to Birdman and Fairy Digimon. Ancient Irismon has the Vaccine attribute and belongs to the Wind Guardians field. Her special attacks are Storm Gazer, which creates a constant giant storm, and Rainbow Symphony, which fires off a super molten laser in 7 colors. Ancient Volcamon has the attribute of Earth and the greatest power among the ancient Digimon. High-temperature magma constantly bubbles up within his body, which is the source of his mighty power. Ancient Volcamon's abilities were later passed down to Rock-type Digimon, such as Ore and Mineral-type. Ancient Volcamon has the Virus attribute and belongs to the Nature Spirits and Metal Empire fields. His special attacks are Atomic Bomber, which causes the volcano on his back to explode, and the resulting propulsive force is used to unleash a super powerful lariat, and Supernova, which generates antimatter within his body and causes a super explosion comparable to a small Big Bang. Ancient Triamon has the attribute of Wood and is the largest of the ancient Digimon. There are various mechanisms hidden within his body, allowing him to perform tricky attacks and movements. Ancient Triamon's abilities were later passed down to Plant-type Digimon. Ancient Triamon has the Data attribute and belongs to the Nature Spirits and Wind Guardians fields. His special attacks are a Pious Gimmick, which activates all the gimmicks in his body to attack all at once, and Surprise Cannon, which fires supermassive shells from the giant cannons in his mouth and chest. Ancient Triamon's name and appearance are based on the Trojan horse, and his special attack, Epias Gimmick, is based on the Greek soldier and builder of the Trojan horse, Epias. Ancient Mermaimon has the attribute of Water and is the guardian goddess of the Net Ocean, the birthplace of Digimon. She rules over the vast Net Ocean and can control all water, including ocean currents and tsunamis, as if they were her own limbs. It is said that countless continents and islands have been wiped out by Ancient Mermaimon's wrath. Ancient Mermaimon's abilities were later passed down to Aquatic Digimon. Ancient Mermaimon has the Data attribute and belongs to the Deep Savers field. Her special attacks are Great Meal Storm, which creates a huge whirlpool that engulfs everything in water, and Crystal Billow, which crystallizes water into super hard crystals and fires them like a machine gun. Another attack is Mermaid's Echo. Ancient Wisemon has the attribute of Steel and is the wisest Digimon in the digital world. He is like an Akashic record that records all the outstanding wisdom of ancient times, and it is said that there is nothing that Ancient Wisemon does not understand. He is also a wise man who has the wisdom of ancient times and can see into the distant future. It is also said that the mirror on Ancient Wisemon's body is connected to another universe. Ancient Wisemon's abilities were later passed down to Mutation Digimon. Ancient Wisemon has the Virus attribute and belongs to the Nightmare Soldiers and Metal Empire fields. His special attacks are La Paz no Ma, translated as La Paz's Demon, which uses ultimate wisdom to determine the coordinates to another world and traps the enemy in another universe for all eternity, and Elder Sign, which summons the ultimate evil god from another universe. La Paz's Demon concerns the idea of determinism, namely the belief that the past completely determines the future. According to determinism, if someone knows the precise location and momentum of every atom in the universe, their past and future values for any given time can be calculated from the laws of classical mechanics. Ancient Sphinxmon has the attribute of Darkness, and as a being born from darkness, he is at the polar opposite of Ancient Garurumon. He governs the destruction and annihilation of all things tangible and living, and was feared as a beast of darkness that brings death. Ancient Sphinxmon's abilities were later passed down to Mythical Beast and Demon Beast Digimon. Ancient Sphinxmon has the Virus attribute and belongs to the Nightmare Soldiers field. His special attacks are Dark Blast, a destructive ray he fires along with a roar, and Necro Eclipse, an ultimate annihilation move that engulfs the enemy in the darkness of death. Which legendary spirit warrior is your favorite? Tell me in the comments below. If you want to support me, you can do so on Patreon or the Buy Me Coffee website. The links are in the description below. Thank you for watching, stay tuned for more Digimon videos. P.S. Make sure to follow my community page on YouTube, as I also post updates about upcoming videos there.